Hello, well, I'm here today with my friend, Kathir Kuppan. Kathir, how are you today?
Good, Kannan. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. So, you have a very interesting company in Nteli. It's in the Salesforce ecosystem. I'd love to talk a little bit about kind of what your focus is, kind of who your customer base is, and then talk a little bit about the changes that are going on with AI and um, we have a thesis here at Grand Design, which is it's a decade of data. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about how that data is being trapped in some of these big companies like Salesforce. But why don't we start with a little bit about with your background and when did you decide to be an entrepreneur? And tell me a little bit about the journey of Nteli.
Of course. Thank you so much, and thanks for the opportunity today. This is wonderful, and so much talk about data, right? There's so much going on in the data world, so much to unpack.
Yeah.
More questions than answers, So hopefully we'll get there. We'll get the answers very soon. You know, um, Entrepreneurship has been pretty close to my heart. A lot of family members are all entrepreneurs back home in India, which is where I come from. And I have always looked up to them and said, you know what, these guys are doing their own, development companies, and entrepreneurs out there that are building their own engineering firms and everything like that. And for a long time, I really, for all legal purposes, I couldn't really start a company because I was an immigrant. But I started my career in San Jose, California, and first rate San Jose. There was Sun Microsystems on one side, there was NetApps and NVIDIA on the other side.
Yes, exactly.
So you've seen that old map of Valley with all the
Right.
80s Silicon Valley organizations. So I come from that gang of people that went to the Valley in early 2000 timeframe. And I worked in a very interesting company. This company was called Selectica back in the day. And you know the company Selectica.
I do know Selectica. I know its founder,
Yeah,
Raj Jaswal, very
yeah,
well.
yeah. Jaswam, Sanjay Mittal. I mean, the IIT Kanpur gang was just
Yes,
killing
exactly.
it out there. And I joined as a architect, developer, and very early stages we were building applications, configuration, pricing, coding, mostly for manufacturing companies, right? Which is the Ciscos of the world, the Hitachis of the world,
Absolutely. The people that had very hard configurator
yeah,
products that were very technical, it
yeah,
solved a real niche. But I'll tell you the funny thing about Selectica, because Raj is a world-class entrepreneur. I got to know him through Thai when we were both charter members. He started another company, Optimus, that also went public. He's amazing. But the thing about Selectica is even 20 years later, that company, that product, and its footprint are still around. So
oh yeah,
what you guys did back in the '90s is still actually holding
yeah.
water now. So congrats to you.
Yeah, and then that was very startup culture. Kick the can down the road, figure out things by yourself,
Yeah.
try to be the hero on the project, all kinds of stuff. And then from that makeup, I somehow ended up in IBM because we did a project for IBM, and so Tico was kind of going
Yeah.
downhill at that
Yeah. Yeah.
point. They were trying to get acquired. They were figuring out, is configurator your thing, or is contract management lifecycle your thing? Is what is
Right.
code cash? Are we a sales engine? Or are we a contract engine? Like there was all kinds of questions about it. So
Absolutely.
I ended
You
up,
kind of borderline in a couple different kind of what we call verticals, and you could have
yeah,
your product was so nicely architected that you could kind of be a lot of different things. You could be
yeah,
a shapeshifter, you could be a snake here and a lizard here and a frog here. Yeah.
yeah. In 2009, I think ended up with Salesforce.com.
Okay.
Because I was fascinated by what Benioff did, and you know the whole subscription model, because we always wondered when we worked for Cisco, and the other big companies out there in the valley, we were wondering, how do we take this quote to cash application, and how do you bring it to uh,
Yeah.
more or less
Yeah.
a B2B internet, right?
Yeah.
And in that realm, we came across, I saw Salesforce, and I'm like, oh, that's the future. And so I ended up moving to New York. Uh,
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah,
yeah,
I spent some time in New York too. So it sounds like Kadir, you've got a depth of knowledge in the whole quote to cash CPQ kind of space across multiple architectures. So what was the real gotcha that drove you to start Nteli and to jump off on your own to do that? What was the thesis that you saw happening? And I'll tell you stories about Salesforce. I'd go way back with the company. I used to know Mark before he started Salesforce, and I used to go on trips with him and talk to him about before he started Salesforce. And luckily, I got a small allocation of Series A stock. But the point is that now it's become such a behemoth. The ecosystem has changed. So it's going to be great to hear your analysis of how that ecosystem has changed. But before we get there, tell me a little bit about what was the thesis that said Nteli? And Nteli's been around since 2018, is that right?
Yeah, since 2018. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the genesis of the thesis that you saw that was needed?
You know, for a while, there was all these methodologies about how to run a CRM implementation project. There's business process reengineering going on. There's implementation, there's managed services. But because of the experience I've had with, the first 10 years of my career with, Selecticas or IBMs of the world, I figured out that, all that quote to cash knowledge we had actually can be, compartmentalized, can be productized, in a professional services context, right? You can take what we did back then, and the time has come now where we can, take that model and make customers successful. And I've been experimenting with this for a while, right? When I worked with a company called Blue Wolf that got acquired by IBM, and I practically knew every other company out there, like Sterling Commerce, Commergent, Atlas Cloud of the SAP one, IBM Big Machines. I mean, somehow I kind of stepped my feet into every one of these organizations, and I kind of understood, okay, I kind of get the big picture now. So and there are these awesome products out there, like including Oracle CPQ and Steelbreak and all these companies. And I'm thinking, okay, who's there that can take these products and actually make it a reality for customers? And there were very few companies that were doing it, right?
Gotcha.
In fact, it was the companies themselves that were trying. Salesforce themselves, professional services. Aptus had their own professional services.
Gotcha.
And then we understood the dependencies, right? There's, when you say quote to cash, you're talking products, you're talking pricing, you're talking contract life cycle, you're talking document generation, you're talking salespeople interacting with each other.
So do you have a set of principles that you use for your employees, so they can kind of you took some very deep expertise that you had, you codified it into some training programs, certified your employees. Talk to me about how you keep that culture lean and mean, and then we're going to shift gears a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about how the business has changed. But let's finish up on some of the. I remember reading a mnemonic that you created for your employees.
Yeah, it's the POWR with POWR. So persistence, ownership, workmanship, and a relationship with customers, right? So which is basically, if you go at a problem long enough, you will find the answers. And that's, to me, persistence, right? I'm sure every entrepreneur out there, will tell you that, skill sets are diamond.
It's even deeper than that, Kathir. Right now we have so much data on what makes successful companies. Back when I started my first company, it was kind of a new field, entrepreneurship. Now it's kind of a science. And the number one thing that comes up, obviously intelligence and competence are there, but even above that is grit and resilience and persistence. So you're hitting the nail on the head, which what makes things successful. Hey, one of the things I wanted to ask you, Kathir, was when you look at it's a very competitive landscape out there for Salesforce consultancies. When a CIO is trying to choose Nteli, and I know that you've got a deep expertise in all of the cash to quote, but tell me exactly why a CIO is choosing Nteli.
Nteli stands out in the crowded, the super crowded Salesforce partner ecosystem, right? With a unique blend of strengths, right? The number one is our leadership. It boasts over 100 years of combined experience steering our innovative path in revenue lifecycle management, not only within the Salesforce environment, but every other software tool and process out there within the, what do you call, everyone says quote to cash, lead to cash, but I call it, lead to loyalty.
Yeah,
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And really what sets us apart is our strategic use of open source technology, integration with AI to deliver advanced adaptable solutions. And
So that's a great segue. With all the changes in the, we absolutely believe that this when ChatGPT came around about a year ago, November, we all looked at it and said, wow, this really changes everything. You have a complete seamless interface that you can just type text, and it has so much context. It can really understand any kind of English and understand your intent. Hey, so just following up on the idea about why people choose Nteli, give me the top couple reasons that you found in your experience. I know you have a very great relationship with your customers. Why is that?
I mean, certainly, right? Here's a summary of why Nteli, right? Number one is culture. Okay. Our cornerstone of our success is Nteli's culture. Okay. We've cultivated a vibrant, innovative work environment led by over 100 years of combined experience. It's deep rooted in customer centricity, encouraging continuous innovation and adaptability. We are creating the next revenue leaders that completely understand data maturity models and AI.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Kathir. And I know you as an executive are very loyal and a trusted advisor to your clients, and we really look up to that.
Yeah. Number two is AI and data strategy, which we talked about, right? Our AI and data strategy sets us apart in the Salesforce partner ecosystem. We leveraging open source technology, seamlessly integrating with advanced AI to offer adaptable cutting edge solutions, right? Utilizing AI to enhance data analysis and applications, ensuring that our clients benefit from the most sophisticated tools available. And we know all the tools. We've seen the business process. Now we know all the tools, right? Absolutely. So this unique maturity model assessment provides deep insights, enabling businesses to optimize their strategies and growth.
I love that. I love it.
That is the number two. Number three is probably the most important one with all the changes that are happening in the ecosystem today is market need anticipation. Okay, which is we excel in anticipating and meeting market needs, right? It's some things like outcome-based pricing, aligning our success directly with that of our clients, right? And what this does, it delivers tangible results.
Okay? It's so funny. I completely agree with you. In fact, I've been writing a post now about how the SaaS business model is broken. We started off per seats. Now people are doing per usage, but either of those metrics fall short. Really, in the age of AI, it has to be per task, per outcome. And so I'm glad that Nteli is on the forefront of that revolution. Yeah. Now that Salesforce has integrated that as a co-pilot for all these things, how has the Salesforce ecosystem changed? Obviously, that has strong implications for the Salesforce consultancies out there. How do you see the addition of Salesforce co-pilots affecting the Salesforce consultancy?
Yeah, I mean, let's take it, right? Within the quote to cash ecosystem, in the current state, you have very set pricing models, tiered pricing, you have product pricing, you have solution-based pricing. But what we're pioneering with AI in play is outcome-based pricing, right? With outcome-based pricing, you can align our success with our clients, and the other thing, another segue we can talk about is the proprietary data maturity model assessment, which provides unparalleled insights for client growth.
I love that. I love both those answers. So when I look at Salesforce right now, and I love the company and I love the founder, but I think he has this campaign now saying, trust us. We should trust, and you can trust us. We don't steal your data. And I'm saying that clients shouldn't be in the situation where they have to believe somebody or they have to trust them. They should have enough. Their data strategy should put them in charge so they have control of it. As you've seen your business grow and you've seen us, the Salesforce Cloud, talk to me about how the Einstein product and how they're putting co-pilots in every product, how that's affected your consultancy, and how maybe you have to start changing how you do outcome-based modeling and other things for your consultancy. Let's talk about that change, Kathir. I think our customers really want to hear about that.
The siloed approach of these, we've always talked about break the silos, and it never really became a reality. But with AI, all these individual AI silos, the AI for service, the AI for operations, the AI for finance, they're all going to start talking to each other, and we wouldn't even know that they're talking to each other. They will start interacting, and all of a sudden you see the silos are going to be broken, and there's going to be a crazy, brain level nodal interaction, internodal interaction that's going to happen. You're going to look at like a mind node of stuff that's going to happen. And that, what does that do? That will bring discipline to the business process. We don't have to sit and do customer journey mapping, hours and hours of customer journey mapping to come up with a model, 4 people in a room, right? AI is going to tell you, by the way, this thing that you're doing, that is of no value for us.
Yeah. So,
right?
Talk to me a little bit about, so that's great. And then the second thing, I love what you just brought up. You brought up a data maturity model. We have this theory, which is that data is the gold. This is the decade of data. You have to be able to do a deep discovery of what data sources are viable and important, and put an action in place so that your customers can protect that data source.
Yeah, and with that comes the market need anticipation, right? A lot of companies today can take a Salesforce product, right? For example, Service Cloud, and implement Service Cloud. They're specialists in Service Cloud. A lot of companies can take CPQ and implement CPQ. But in order for you to not just meet, demands, right? With AI and the deep data maturity model assessments that we're bringing in with our ecosystem, our partner ecosystem, and our partners with more than 100 years of experience in the space, combined leadership experience in the space, you got to be able to anticipate market needs, right?
I love that. Yeah.
By understanding and predicting market needs, we position itself and its clients at the forefront of revenue lifecycle management revolution, ensuring that there's sustained growth and success in a very highly competitive landscape.
Yeah.
Yes, partner ecosystem is crowded. It's a very highly competitive landscape. But think about our customers and the competitive landscape that they are in. So they're coming to us because they want to anticipate market demands.
Well, it's doubly interesting, Kathir, because your space around finance. I'm a student of Silicon Valley. I study a lot of the big successes and the big VC as well as bootstrap companies. And this area of finance, we always think about it in terms of accounting and maybe some rudimentary financial planning, has really taken a new shape. And we have companies like Dropbox, companies like Figma that have specialized in this strategic finance, where the people in that department are solving all kinds of problems related to product, related to costs and expenses, and even offerings to customers based on the data and modeling on top of that data.
Managing revenue, and we're at the forefront of managing revenue and how companies manage revenue, and in a very scalable way, right? And when everything we talked about, from everything from AI to a comprehensive data maturity assessment strategy, everything, every company out there is doing these things because they want to manage their revenue and they want to have predictable outcomes that they can report off of. So financial forecasting is changing on its head, because we're going to provide insights to customers that they've never seen before.
That's absolutely great. Kathir, it's been great catching up with you today. We'll see you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you, Kannan. Really appreciate it. All the best with all the future endeavors.
Thank you, buddy.